There is so much trash in space, and it's only going to get worse. But can we turn a profit from cleaning it up? Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Orbital Economy. Here we're going to talk about space, business, history, and making all that cool and accessible. There's a completely underrated movie called Space Sweepers. It's a Korean movie. It's essentially a ragtag group of space guardsmen that get caught up into something much bigger than themselves. But in the movie, the main character's jobs is to clean up space debris. So imagine a future industry where your job is to gather space debris, melt it down, and recycle it into huge metal ingots. Then you sell those. I mean, bro, a space garbage bin? Life could be worse. But you know it's way cooler than space garbage men? Fucking space lasers. But hey, more on that later. Because satellites and debris are not spread evenly across all of space, they are concentrated into orbital lanes, especially low Earth orbit. Now, we are not getting into orbital lanes, nor am I going to show you some fancy animation of how it works. But hey, subscribe now, and eventually we're going to get to those fancy animations. Now, it is a real problem, and we actually track a lot of this debris. We can track objects that are greater than 10 centimeters in size that are floating in orbit. The ISS actually moves every now and then to avoid this debris. But debris less than 10 centimeters can't be tracked accurately or reliably. Here is random objects that are under 10 centimeters. Let's use that egg. So imagine a piece of shrapnel about the size of an egg. Now, this is not just floating merrily like in the movies. It's not just floating around, moving slow. It's traveling at somewhere between 22 and 34,000 miles an hour. Debris larger than 1 centimeter can cause a mission critical damage. And an object larger than 10 centimeters can likely cause catastrophic breakup of a spacecraft or a rocket body. Here's a real life situation. Imagine if it hit a starship with humans on board. Now, the stainless steel would prevent a lot of damage, although in theory, a 5 centimeter metal object traveling at 25,000 miles per hour could potentially damage starships, let's say, heat shield, the little hexagonal black things that's used for re-entry. So this could potentially damage starship's heat shield. Now, those are the little black hexagonal things on the side of starship. This could actually cause re-entry to be unsafe. Likewise, it could just hit the stainless steel at an angle and bounce off. Obviously, a huge satellite colliding with any spacecraft would just absolutely destroy it. So what's the solution, and how are we going to make money off this? Well, there are a few companies trying to make this happen right now. First, we have ClearSpace. ClearSpace is a Swiss startup that is leading this mission. The mission is to use their satellite named ClearSpace 1 to use these giant claws to grab pieces of debris. After ClearSpace 1 grabs the debris, it'll push it towards Earth's atmosphere, where it will burn up as it enters orbit. Next, we have Astroscale, a Japanese company also trying to compete in the space debris business. So Astroscale will try a bit of a different route. Their satellites will have a magnetic attachment at the front, so it'll lock onto satellites that magnetically stick to it. Now, a bit where this differs from a giant claw, the satellite it connects to must be built with that opposite connector beforehand. So therefore, a company must work with Astroscale while building their satellites. This will enable Astroscale to be able to work with a satellite later. But the caveat here, this is not to just dispose of the satellite. But another purpose of this will be full-on orbital servicing. We're talking about refueling, repositioning, and any sort of a life extension. This is where the real money is. Servicing satellites to double the lifespan would be far cheaper than rebuilding and launching a whole nother satellite. So Astroscale and ClearSpace's future will probably be in orbital servicing and space debris removal combined. It probably won't just be one. Now, both of those companies' main focus will be on larger debris. But what about the smaller pieces? I had the whole spiel earlier about egg-sized piece of shrapnel hitting a starship. Now, both of those companies focus on larger pieces of debris, but what about the smaller pieces? So here, now we have the space lasers. So space lasers heat the surface of the debris just enough to vaporize a teeny amount of material. That vaporization produces a gentle thrust that gradually alters the object's orbit so that it falls into the atmosphere. While space lasers are fucking cool on its own, just imagine this technology in the future. Autonomous orbital space lasers that continuously shoot down debris. Like a sentry from hell, just shooting fucking lasers at every bit of debris that's in its range. Now that's something I would invest a shit ton of money into. There's actually a company making a space laser, by the way. It's from Japan. The company's name is Orbital Lasers. They would be the first company to launch one of these space lasers into orbit, but as of May 2026, no company has yet made this a reality. The economics around space debris removal are highly speculative, but estimates have that it's projected to grow from $1.444 billion in 2025 to $13.54 billion by 2035. But that's still not completely space debris removal. That will be full on orbital AAA services by 2035. As we continue forward, regulations will surely be implemented by then. Alright, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'm making this channel because space is cool. The upcoming space economy will be what the history books know us for, not the internet, not social media. It's gonna be this. And if I think space is cool, someone else out there does as well. I want to prove me and you can be a part of this. Say what you want to say, look how you want to look. We can still contribute and be part of what's to come.